Hey creatives, welcome back to my channel. Today we are setting up some seasonal spreads in my bullet journal. As you can see, I painted on my notebook. That's just a little side note here. Let's jump into the video. I thought I'd make this a separate video and not put it all in my monthly setup for September, because otherwise I think this video would have turned out pretty long. And for those who are interested in this, you can watch it then. And if you're not, you can just watch my regular September setup that is coming up in a bit. We are starting with a review page for the last season, which is obviously summer, or which was summer, and I can't believe that summer is almost over. It's a bit sad because summer here in northern Germany was a bit frustrating. It was really rainy a lot of times, and I wish we had more nice summer days, but you can't change how it went. Especially you can't change the weather, so I'm just hoping for a nice late summer and early autumn. And yeah, I'm setting up this spread here for asking myself some reflective questions about the last season and about the coming up season. And I call this my seasonal review and my seasonal foresight. And maybe you know, if you follow me on my Patreon page, which is free by the way, that I recently got into the spirit of the seasons and adjusting my life to live more aligned with the seasons. So yeah, if you're interested in that, check out my Patreon page. As I said, it's completely free and you can read already 2 posts there that I wrote about summer and the general spirit of the seasons. And what I'm doing, or what I'm trying to do, is that I want to do not my usual quarterly reflection sessions, but make them in line with the seasons, so that the quarters are like 1 month after what a usual quarter is. And I see how I like this. I guess this is an experiment now, but I find that pretty interesting. And for my reflection questions, I have on the review side, what was my focus and my goals and how did that go? What was on my mind? What successes did I have? What challenges did I face? What were the highlights and what am I thankful for? And what did I learn? And on the other side, which is the seasonal foresight for autumn, I will journal about what do I want to keep, what do I want to change, what do I want to focus on, what goals do I want to reach and why, what wishes do I have, and what do I want to experience. And for me, this is quite an important process to do this regularly, to check in with myself, with my goals, with what I have learned and how I want to keep going through the next months. And I find that looking at my goals and stuff like that is more useful for me doing that every few months and eventually adjusting my goals to my new situations, since my thoughts change a lot, my ideas change a lot, and then I can see if I want to follow through something or if I want to go for something new. As you can see, I'm using quite a few stems in this setup, which I only use with my Tombow and Crayola Super Tip pens, since this journal is a Leuchtturm 1917 with 80 GSM paper, and if I use normal ink on my stamps, they would bleed through probably. Yeah, I found myself lately missing a little bit of the decorative aspect of my bullet journal. If you have seen my last videos, you might remember that those setups were pretty minimalist, which is fine, they still work for me, but I also realized that I just like to get creative in my journal, and I was holding back from that because I felt that my notebook would not be able to handle that. But I thought, why do I think that? I've seen so many videos in the past where people use this particular notebook and are pretty creative and artistic in it, and why shouldn't I try that as well? And so this is a bit of a vintage scrapbooking theme vibe here, with lots of different stationery supplies that I already own from, I don't know, Stationery Pal, Journal Say. My letter stamps are from this this Danish shop or Scandinavian shop that I kind of don't know how to pronounce it. Søstrene. I don't know. But yeah, if you have any particular questions, then just write them in the comments, and I will tell you where this supply is from. I also used some washi tape from the washi tape shop. But yeah, I said it earlier or in other videos before that I don't want to spend a lot of time writing every supply that I'm using in the info box, which is not really doing anything for me. So yeah, if you're interested in anything, let me know. Long story short, end of that. Meanwhile, we were flipping over to the next spreads, which will be my planning spreads for autumn. And I've did that for summer in July, I think, for the first time. And I really enjoyed that. I think that this is a nice way for me to realize how time goes, basically, and how time flies by, unfortunately. But it gives me a better overview of how much time I have ahead in the next 3 months and kind of align my life with that. I don't know if that makes any sense. It just gives me a better perspective on time, I guess. That's also, I think, because I don't know if you feel the same, but each year in specific seasons, like when spring comes around, when summer or autumn come around, I often feel like excited about it, but also a bit nostalgic already before the season has even started, because I do enjoy things like autumn or summer a lot, and then it feels like the blink of an eye goes by and the season is over. And this has the purpose here to make me a bit more aware of my time and where that goes and how I want to create memories basically in that time. And as you can see, we're starting here with a little bucket list where I write down just simple little things that will make me happy if I can get them done in this season. And underneath that I have a little space for to-dos, just for some general things that I want to do, nothing important. For that I have other to-do lists, but I liked having a little space on this page in the past seasonal planning spread. And this will turn into a Dutch drawer in a moment, or in a few moments, we'll see. Also, this to-do section might function in relation to the goals that I want to set myself for the next few months, for the next 3 months specifically. And then on the left page, we start with a space for my intentions, which I think is a bit different to goals, because this is more like an overall feeling and an overall mindset that I want to carry into the month. And underneath that, I will create a space for my goals that I want to achieve in the next 3 months. The thing that annoys me a little bit with stamps is how long it takes to get them sorted out and to stamp them down, especially if you're using pens with them. But in the end, I really like the look of them in my journal, especially since these are still kind of small and delicate and not too big and overwhelming. And with that, we have stamped the title Autumn, September to November in the top left corner of the page. And underneath that, I will have a bit of space for decoration, which will come soon. And then we have two bit more spiritual things, which are mostly fun for me. Underneath, I have a space to write the spirit of the month. I'm always saying the month, of the months, of the season, I mean, the spirit of the season, and a space to write down some tarot cards that I might draw for this autumn. And then I decorated the page with another border around the intentions, and later I will also do a lot of decorations with some stickers and stamps. And yeah, I really enjoyed getting a bit creative again. I still can say that I don't really mind the ghosting a lot. You can see that the lines from the headings of the questions on the last page, they show through quite a bit, but I think that's kind of nice. That gives me the feeling of me using my notebook properly. And so far I can say that this project here, being more creative, using stamps and stickers and all that kind of stuff, worked pretty well in the notebook, even though it is such a thin paper. But the Leuchtturm journals, they are just great. The paper quality is incredible, even though it's thin. But I really enjoyed getting creative again, and I've missed that a bit. I also especially loved how this yellow fern in the underneath the autumn title turned out. I love that it didn't stamp perfectly. That just gives it a bit extra of a vintage look, in my opinion. And I really like how these things came together. I used these papers that have mushrooms on them, with which I thought for a second they were stickers, but they're not. Combined them with a lot of scrapbooking paper that had like newspaper print styles on them, and with a lot of these leaf washi tape stickers from the washi tape shop, which gave that the very nice autumn look that I wanted these pages to have. When I think about autumn, I immediately think of warm colors, of red, yellow, brown leaves and coziness, and going to the woods and collecting mushrooms, stuff like that. And I also think of a little bit of magic, I guess. For me, autumn is the start of getting into Harry Potter and things like that, and I wanted that to be represented in these spreads. And here on the next Dutch door spread, I'm creating a little monthly overview. This is not really for planning purposes. I write down the calendar weeks on the left side, and then I can mark very important events or times when I'm away, things like that in there. But I just like having the overview of the months and how many weeks there are and what happened in those weeks. And it really gives me that sense of time that I'm sometimes missing in my normal calendar. I think it's a bit hard to read, but underneath the month titles, I wrote down early, mid, and late autumn. And then again, I started decorating the page with the scrapbooking paper and with stickers and stuff like that. And I think that's what I will be doing mostly now. On the right page though, I will create a little space for each month where I will write down the most important, in quotation marks, memories for me, what was present in the month, and yeah, just to collect some memories. I used to have a spread in the beginning of my bullet journal every year, but with this journal, I thought since I wanted to start these monthly overview planning pages, I would combine them with some review pages. And then I also have a bit more sense of connecting that with my goals and intentions and where my head was at that time, and not just disconnected from those things in a separate spread in the beginning of the journal. And in case you are curious about the seasons and that is something that gets you excited and interested as well, I have created some seasonal cards that you could print out and use to put in the back pocket of your journal and pull out for reference. And they have a small or little short summary of what the season is about, what the energy is like, what you could focus on. And with all that, I think it's still important to listen to yourself, to your intention. But the whole thing with the seasonal planning and keeping in mind what the seasons are about, I feel like for me it is mostly to remind myself that I'm a part of nature as well. And as in autumn, nature starts like slowly shutting down, preparing for winter. Also like with older seasonal festivities like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. For me, that's just a reminder that I'm not functioning the same way every single month, every single day, that there are phases, and it's no wonder that my energy might be not the same and not as high in autumn and winter when weather here starts getting really bad and just really gray and rainy and stuff like that. Then how can I expect from myself to really be energetic and want to achieve pretty many goals or stuff like that? So yeah, long story short, with the stuff that I'm also sharing on my Patreon page to that topic, I don't want to tell you what you have to do and what you shouldn't do. I just want to raise a bit awareness that we are also just natural human beings, and we shouldn't expect from ourselves to function the whole time and to be basically robots or machines that can achieve things with the same energy and with the same drive every single month or even week or day. For me it's a great reminder to be more mindful, and I hope that this can be helpful to you as well. But if it's not for you, then that's totally fine as well. And with all of these things that you should or shouldn't do in a season, I think it's still an individual thing. And in the end, if you listen to yourself and if you do what's good for you and what feels right, then it's fine. And if that's not what the spirit of the season says it is about, then that is totally fine as well. So we're almost at the end. I decided to add that little aspect of magic in this spread with my new bought jelly roll pen in gold, which I really love. And I'm just drawing out a bunch of sparkles and stars and little dots that add this little magic to the page. And this is what I think really brought it together. And I had so much fun creating something that is not just functional but also really beautiful for me to look at. I really like the end result. I love the mix of vintage, of nature, of magic. It really is my vibe, and I'm looking forward to create more of that stuff. And also for me that's a really great excuse to buy more stationery, which I probably shouldn't continue doing so much, but I just love using that stuff and it really makes me happy. So I would like to hear from you how you like the setup? How do you think it turned out? Are you interested in videos like that where the subject is a bit separated from my monthly flip through? And yeah, are you into seasonal planning? How do you reflect? Do you do that quarterly? Is that something you're into? Let me know. And this is the final flip through. I hope that you had fun watching this video. If you stick till the end, thank you very, very much. It means a lot. And if you haven't by now, consider subscribing to my channel. That makes me really happy too. And I hope you're having a good time and that we see us in my next video. Alrighty, bye.